Okay, let's get started. So thank you all for joining us. This is part of Morrison Garitano's webinar series titled HR in Half an Hour. My name is Kristen White. I'm from Morrison Garitano, part of the team offering HR consulting services to all of our clients. A big part of that service is offering complimentary access to Mineral, which is why today we brought in an expert from Mineral, Alex Clark, who would touch on key tools within the platform. Now, these features are accessible for users set up in Mineral in a client admin role. So if you need to request access for your company or to update your user role, then we'll drop a link in the chat with the request form. That's also available on our Morrison Garitano website. From the services menu on our site, there's an HR services page. You can scroll down to Mineral section. As I mentioned earlier, today's webinar is being recorded. A copy of that recording will be emailed to you later this week. And during the webinar, you can use that question and answer feature to ask questions. And if we don't get your question during this webinar, then one of us will follow up with you. With that, I will turn over to Alex.
Great. Now I'm off mute. Hi, everyone. Thanks so much, Kristen. Nice to meet everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I know we've only got 30 minutes, that's HR in half hour. So I want to jump straight on in to try and cover as much as we can in this short session today. Let me go ahead and start sharing my screen with you all. And hopefully with everyone on attendance today, you either have some type of access to Mineral or might have seen it before. So what we're showing right now, you should have access to see the Mineral platform and how you would see it through your access with Morrison Garitano. Again, everything I briefly jump into today, once you are logged in and have a client admin access role, you should see everything that I'm going through. There's nothing extra necessarily. So to get going, this is Mineral platform, again, branded with Morrison Garitano, you see up here in the top left-hand corner. If you're anywhere within the Mineral platform and just want to get back to the dashboard, just click the logo and it will always take you back to this page. I'll briefly just go through the dashboard itself. But before we get going, really, when you or when Morrison Garitano add you into as a client, you then have the ability to keep your client information up to date. So whether that's your employee count, the states that you are located in, if it's in multiple states. And I'll stress this throughout the session, but it's really important for you to keep it up to date because there's multiple things throughout the platform. We call it Mineral Intelligence, and we pull that information from your profile section to give you the correct content throughout the platform. So just starting here with the featured content, my demo account I'm showing you today, I'm based in Missouri. It says, so it will show me Missouri state content and then also federal information. So we really want you to be looking at information that's relevant to you. If you're not in Missouri, you don't need to be seeing it. Next down is our contact expert. So part of the package you have with Morrison Garitano, you have access to our live team of HR experts. There's about 50 experts on the team. And as you can see here, they are available either to call directly, there's this telephone number. They're available Monday through Friday, 5 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. They are only closed to this 1 hour on a Friday. They have a team sync-up meeting just to talk about the trends of questions and topics that have been coming up that week. If you call them, you will also get an email and a case created just so we can keep track and you can keep track of any information and the answers that were given to you. If you do not want to call them, that's fine. There's also a case submission process here. So it's starting off with which type of help you need and whether it's to do with employee health, welfare and retirement benefits or human resources. So you would just select the option. And as I said, it knows the state I'm in, Missouri, and the brackets represent the employee count. So I'm showing as 80 employees. This again will help our experts to give you the right information and answers. Our commitment of any answers, so whether it be via the phone call or this case submission process, is a 1 business day turnaround time. So if we go over next to the next page, this is where you would ask your question or the issue you might be having. You can attach documentation here. And then this is also just your contact information. So your name, email, and the company name. Again, if you want to edit that, if that's incorrect for any reason, you can go back to your profile page. And then once you submit, you'll get an email to say, thank you for submitting case ABC. We'll be in touch shortly, and then the answer will come. We do see on average an answer probably between 3 to 5 hours. But again, our commitment is that 1 business day. Further down then, we have the My Favorites tab. So again, I'll jump into the HR compliance, the templates and forms. Anything that has a star shape on the content itself can be saved to the dashboard. So instead of having to click or search every time you go into Mineral, if you know you're using a piece of content constantly, you can save it here to the dashboard. Then we've got the top 10 cases. So that's whether it's technical support or the HR expert cases. Just your top 10 on the dashboard, but you have unlimited questions you can ask. So you can find your full list here. And then lastly is your to-do list. So this could be anything from policy updates in your handbook, learning courses that have been assigned to you that need to be taken, or even just policy reminders in the HR compliance tab. So that's, again, a quick overview of the dashboard, but I'm going to show you now along the top the major features now available. So under HR compliance itself, we've got the compliance dashboard. I'll show you this. This is a really great visual. So again, based on my demo account, I have my 80 employees, which is reflected here. And as you can see, the dotted line, there's a key at the bottom here, and it tells you which policies, laws you need to be taking action on versus what you need to plan ahead for. So anything under the dotted line with this key, FMLA, OSHA reporting, COBRA, I know I need to be taking these actions. We can click on more detail. We've got action items, so you can add these to your to-do list. I click on ACA. Again, more actions here. The importance of keeping this information up to date. So if you're constantly growing, maybe you're going to hit the next threshold. So whether you're even under 50 and approaching 50, or like me, I could be hitting 100 in the near future. You want to know, so when you hit 101, you're not like having to backtrack. You're always prepared of what's to come. Under HR compliance itself as well, you've got insights, law alerts, laws, just ease of time. I'll jump in just a handful of these. Different filter options on the left-hand side. So on the laws section here is already checked federal, but for me, Missouri is also checked. You can check others as well. I'll check 3 more states. Once I click away, it will refresh and you'll see those extra states. There's also the same categories follow us around the platform. So there's benefits, discrimination and equal employment, hiring, leaves and time off, and a few others. If you want just leaves and time off, you can click this filter and it will show you everything relevant to the states you've selected and this category. If I just click into one of these, they've all got the same option. So this is the star feature I was talking about. If we add it to my favorite, it will then appear on my dashboard. We can always unfavorite it also. And then you've got the print, download, and also a link to copy it to another client admin who has access to Mineral. You've got the compliance calendar. So this is for 2025. You can see it for a list view, also the calendar view here. Click on any of these and to take you to more information regarding that event. You can download the full compliance calendar, the year, or on a month-by-month basis. And you can also add your own event in if that's something you want to use and utilize our calendar here. The very last thing I do want to show you today on the HR compliance tab is the HR assessment. I would recommend all of you taking this if you have access. And what it is a multiple choice questionnaire. Questions really fall under the different categories that I just discussed, but there's one about the handbook. You know, how often do you complete or update your handbook? Do you even have a handbook? And then based on your results, we will give you a score out of 100. I have 49. But you can take the assessment on lots of different occasions. So the goal is if you do have a low score or in the red, like myself, if you take it in 6 months' time after taking on our feedback, you should hopefully approach into the green. And if I show you the results, you'll see this color scheme that I'm talking about. So based on my answers, I'm at a high risk compliance area, but we want to really be seeing you in the high moderate risk into essentially the all-star. If I look further down, here are some of the questions. So are we confident that all your exempt employees are properly classified? Are you properly tracking and paying all time work, including overtime? And so these are the answers that I gave. And then here was my recommendation at the top here. So again, everyone can take this. So next over, we've done HR compliance. Again, lots more here that I could show you today, but for time, I'll jump into handbooks. So this, I would say, with Mineral, we have three very big major features. One is the HR experts available to you. And this is the second one. So the Smart Employee Handbook. Everything is, once you've created the first process of starting the handbook, the goal is that we will keep it up to date for you, or we will proactively alert you when changes, language, verbiage in a policy needs updating. As you can see, when I clicked on handbooks, these are my different handbooks. So you currently have access to a one state, single state handbook and federal handbook. As you can see here, we do have a multi-state option also. So if you are in multiple states, you can create one document in Mineral with all the different states you're located in, which also includes a Spanish translation and an e-signature portal within Mineral. So if you want to learn more about this, there's this small banner. But for most of you, you will just have the single state for now. And again, you can create more than one single state. So even if you are in multiple states, if you don't want to merge it all together for any reason, you can do multiple one state handbooks. And so these are all mine that I have created. You can see this red flag. So the red flag indicates that a handbook is out of date. And then without the red flag, this is compliant. So if I click on the actions on some of my handbooks, you can see that I have the ability to download, whether a Word or PDF document. But with a red flag, if I click actions, this is grayed out for us. So we do not want you to share anything that's not compliant, have any handbooks being sent to your employees for signing that might have incorrect verbiage in it. So until that red flag is gone, until your policies are updated, you cannot download the handbook. So I'll very quickly show you the creation process here. There's an actions tab, create new handbook. You need to give it a name. We'll just do demo, the federal and one state or federal only. And then there's options here about your company name, how do you refer to your companies. You would just need to fill all these boxes out. Then you would pick Missouri or the state you're in. I'll pick Missouri from this. And it automatically knows I have those 80 employees. This checkbox here, that's some of the smart element of the handbook. So we will email you anytime a policy is updated or needs to be updated, if the language has changed. If you uncheck that, that's also fine, but you would just need to go back into Mineral to look for the red flag. Let me just change some of these for just the time aspect. I think one thing to point out on this page as well, that this can always be edited as well. Once you've created it, it's not a one and done. You don't have to create a whole new handbook. You can always come back to this page to make changes. But you'll see these double brackets underneath. And so anywhere in the policy page on our next page where it says head of company title, we replace that with CEO or whatever you put in these boxes. So we'll save, review the policies. So this is the handbook policy page. I've got my core policies based on 80 employees and then my Missouri 80 employee count state. If I open up some of these, you'll see all of the individual policies within the handbook. Lots of different keys here. Some require extra customization. And here you always have full authority over what goes into your handbook. This is a little toggle. So even though this key here tells us the red star is required, you do not have to have it in your handbook if you wish not to include it. If I just go back to my handbook dashboard, we can see this one I've just created today. So while it still needs lots of customization for me as a company to add my specific information, it is compliant because it's got all the state regulated and federal information there. If I show you one that's got a red flag, really easy to look in at these policy updates. It shows me in the orange bubbles on the right-hand side, the number of policies needed to be updated. So if I update some, click into it, it shows me specifically the ones that need updating. Here, it will give me the date, so we can know that the alert was actually from December of last year. And we can also see the updated policy language versus the previous policy language. If we look at view text difference, this is a great way I find to see the changes. So in pink and crossed out is what we're taking away, and in green is the verbiage that is being added into the policy. You have the option to accept it, or you can always dismiss it. You do not have to accept everything that we provide for any reason, but I'll accept this just to show you. And if we scroll back down, it's gone to 1 instead of, so that's been updated, and wait, I still have 2 to go on this handbook. If you do create a handbook in Mineral, just go in, I would say even on a 3-month basis to check the alerts, because you do have to go in one by one to approve them. We want you to really know what's going into your handbook. There's not a bulk approval process. I've seen some handbooks that have about 60 policy alerts. So it can be just time consuming to go through one by one. So we do recommend, hopefully on a 3-month to 4-month basis, you just check the alerts. If I open up, let me just find another one, bereavement leave. We'll check this one. But you can see in orange anything that you need to add in extra. There's all these formatting options on every single policy option. And you'll see those double brackets from that company name. If I preview the policy, you can see my company name, Waystar Royco, is automatically pulled into that, so you do not need to change it within this format option. Lots of other features here. You can reorder the policies. You do not have to keep it in the way we've suggested. Just by clicking here, you can drag and drop. You also have the option to link custom policies. So while we have everything that's federal or state specific, you can add your own, so 3-day weekend or something that's just very specific to your company. Okay, that's the handbook. I think I've seen maybe a couple of questions pop in. Can you upload specific company policies? Liliana, great question. So you can upload and add your own custom policies, as I mentioned. And then, is there a way to upload an existing handbook? No, there isn't. Great question. We do get asked this quite often about existing handbooks. Because our content has been created by Mineral and the way we keep it up to date, the smart aspect of it, it has to be created through that handbook wizard. Once you have done it, though, it's so easy and simple to keep it up to date. So it may seem a bit daunting at the beginning to have to create it from scratch, but once you've done that, it really is simple and easy to keep it up to date. But great questions. The only thing I would actually mention with the custom policies within the handbook is that while we will update everything that we've created, you would be reliable, or it'd be on you to keep the custom policies up to date. We do not actively review those. Again, great questions. So that's the handbook. We also have training and LMS system here. We have about, or through Morrison Garantano, you have about 130 courses available to you. All of these categories, once you click on training, it takes you to the course catalog. You can see human resources, pandemic response, professional development. If you click into them, you can see the course description. You can send the link to the email of the training to someone else. You've also got My Courses. So this is anything assigned to the individual user. So even me, just logged in, this is everything that has been assigned to myself. This graduation cap, that would be, you'd be able to click on it if I'd passed or taken the course, but all of these I still have not yet taken. And then dashboard, this is just for you as the client admin. So a brief side note on this, you can add your employees into Mineral. They do obviously not need to see the handbook or the compliance tab or these tools that we'll jump into next, but you might want them to take training. So if you add them as an employee role, the only thing they'll see in Mineral is training, course catalog, and My Courses to take training or to take anything you assign to them. So for you as the admin, you will also see the dashboard. So this is where you can create training tracks. You may want your client or your employees to take 5 courses, your department to take certain courses. And so by looking at some of these older ones I've created, you can see I want these 4 employees to take 3 specific courses. You can see the status of whether they've started taking it. This is overdue because this was due back last year. Got a couple of others still active, but one is in progress. And you can see another one here that has actually completed the training. I won't go through the creation of Learn Today. If you want to learn more about it, we can help you with that. But just some features within the dashboard itself. You have individual email reminders. If one person has just not taken it, but everyone else has completed it, you can email that person, remove users, or you can even add more users if the track is still active. Some actions tabs here or options for you, lots of reporting available. So you can download this whole track report. There's a dashboard report here, great visual. You can see the assigned courses by track, so the things that you have assigned out to employees. And you can also see the courses your employees are taking on their own. So without having it being assigned, they've gone into the course catalog to start taking training. If we could click on courses completed, this star here allows you to download a certificate of that employee. So you can see your employee has taken a specific course and a date. Again, I know that's the LMS very quickly, but I do want to touch on these last 3 headers here for you. So under HR tools, you'll see we have a job description builder, benefits document creator. Again, this one's a wizard. You can create HRA, FSA documents. I think there's 6 in total. Got calculators. Again, there's 6 calculators here for you. 2 very popular ones are the cost per hire, employee turnover. Just need to complete these. And then at the end, we will calculate that cost for you. Templates. So forms, sample policies, letters, and toolkits. You'll see, as I mentioned, those categories follow us around the platform. So if you know roughly what you're looking for, whether it's hiring, but not sure if it's a form or letter, we can find it all here. Post background checks, promotion letters. A lot of this content now I'm showing you, whether it's the compliance or the templates, really is such a time-saving tool for you all. The thought of having to create letters from scratch or forms, checklists, when it's all here in Mineral, really is such a great time-saving tool, I would say, for all of you. One of the toolkits I do want to show you, though, is our new hire toolkits. We have this for every state. So again, it just will show me Missouri for now, but I can check in the filter here to add more. But if you are, especially we know the last 5 years, remote work has become far more popular. You may be wanting to hire in new states. You can find the state you're looking at, and we will tell you everything required. So new hire paperwork in that state. So you don't have to Google and get, different answers depending on how you Google it. It is all here under this toolkit for you. So again, check that out. Some checklists. Oh, and the resources now, sorry. We have Q&A, videos, webinars. The webinars, so again, this is a short 30-minute HR session for you, but we have far more live webinars and even pre-recorded ones under webinars here. So a spotlight series, employee webinars. So this is, again, an intro into Mineral. We do about 3 a week. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, ACA reporting, just purely on the LMS system. So if you want to learn more about that, just click, it will take you to a Zoom registration link. Even if you can't attend, I would recommend signing up for one. We'll send you a recording after. Or again, under how to are some of our pre-recorded versions of all these trainings. And then lastly, I do want to just touch on the help section. So help topics is really our short videos, FAQs, user guides on all of the features here on the platform. So if I even go into just training, because we didn't touch on that too much, but if you want to learn how to create a training track, here's a very short video on it, a minute and 20 seconds. If I scroll further down, we've got user guides, FAQs, where can you find course certificates, and things like that. So go ahead and check out that help center under here and the help topic. But from here, you can also contact our technical support, HR experts that will take you to the case submission process. And then very lastly, I know we have 2 minutes for ease of time. Up here under the top right-hand corner are your settings. So your tools, your cases, profile information. But if you do need to change any company or user information, here's the company section. So you would update your employee count here. You can also add multiple locations if you are in different states. And you can also add your employees. So if you haven't done so, you can do it here, add individual user. Again, you want to just make sure you're adding them with an employee role just to access Learn. But you can also bulk upload users. So import users here. You just download the template. There's all this information of what you need to have included for your employees. And then they will all be added into Mineral. And then under my profile, the last thing I do want to show you today, these are your law alerts. So you may already be receiving some communication from Mineral. Every Wednesday, we send a question of the week. So a very common topic that our experts have received. We'll send that to you every Wednesday, a monthly newsletter, insights from Mineral Intelligence, and then law alerts. So again, make sure it's on the state you want to get information on. So that's a lot to go through. I know in 30 minutes, there's so much there available to you. I see a few questions. I'm sure people might have to drop, but I will be able to stay on for a couple more minutes to answer any of these questions coming through. But thank you all for joining. And Kristen, if there's anything else you want to end with.
No, again, thank you so much for joining. So as Alex said, we're done with the presentation, so you're welcome to drop, but there's a couple questions, so we'll stay on for a few minutes to answer those. Thank you all.
Thanks, everyone. Okay, just to answer the questions, for those who are staying on, I think I did address this, but the handbook, and no, you can't upload your old handbook. It needs to be through the wizard, so we can keep it compliant and update it all. Is there a way to track mandatory training in Monorail? I'm not sure I fully know that. Kristen, if you know, is Monorail a place?
In Mineral, I think just typo.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if it was like Montreal, and I was like, we don't do Canada, but okay. Oh, sorry. Is there a way to track mandatory training? So yes, so if you are doing course specific, that's the training tracks. You can see how your employees are doing, whether they've started, completed, in progress, and again, remind them. Maybe we do another session one day about how to set the tracks up, but you can set email reminders to your employees also. So there's lots of stuff you can do within training itself. But yeah, great question. How do I find a list of training in Mineral? So the course catalog is the best way to go. Kristen, we can probably provide a course catalog for people. Everything you have under the core courses, we can share that with you. But yeah, the course catalog for now is the best place to go into to view those. We do not integrate with any HRIS systems at the moment, Liliana. Recording will go out shortly, or maybe later today or tomorrow, I believe. But you'll receive that from Morris and Garitano. And is there a cost associated with Mineral? I will let Kristen answer that.
Sure. Yeah. So there's no cost for all the features she showed you, the basic platform. That's all something included as being one of our clients. Alex did touch on there's a couple options to upgrade, such as that handbook, if you need to have multiple states in one handbook, things like that. So there are a few premium offerings within the platform, but everything she showed you today is included. Alex, one other question. So in the training, so if I'm looking at, they've added just a user, so they
Yeah.
only have access to the trainings, and you said they'll have access to whatever trainings you assign to them, but do they also have access to all of the courses?
They do, but there is a way around that. So again, under this access tab, there's so much more I can show you all today. But there is a section here called Set Company Course List. So if you do click into this, you can actually, again, this is all of everything available to you. If we click just compliance or customer service, maybe you only want all of your employees to see these 2 courses. You just need to add the courses you want your employees to see. You would save it here. And then when they go into course catalog, they will only see these 2 courses. Just be aware though, when you'll still see everything when creating training tracks. So if you go in and assign anything else, they'll get the email to say you've had 5 courses assigned to you, but when they log in, they'll only still see these 2. So if there's any confusion there, just come back to this set company course list to make sure you haven't, you need to re-add anything or just take everything out.
So if you do use this feature and you assign a course that you don't already have in this list, you'd have to also come to this section.
Yeah, you'd have to add this in. So say you suddenly assign employment, this one, but it's not on this list, they will not actually see it when they go in. So you'll just need to come back, add this in, because as the admin, you still see everything.
Yeah. So that's why as a default, all the users can see all the courses. You would just have more specific courses to take. But if there is an issue with you have people looking at or getting distracted with all the other courses, then this is an option to limit their access.
Yeah.
Great. That's all that came in. Thank you so much, Alex, for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much, everyone, for joining. And I hope you learned something today. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.